the friggin' hell? Come on, dog, stop. Look out. Look out. Move over. Good. Alright, what are you doing, Smiley? Careful, man. I'm gonna cough in your face. And then I cough in your face. It's over here. Hey, come on, stop.
Enemy UAV overhead. We are taking Bravo. Domination. Enemy is securing Charlie. Securing objective Bravo.
Getting changing mags!
Kind of funny. She said she was changing mags and then didn't change mags.
Incoming!
Securing Alpha. Secure Bravo.
Low on ammo.
Bravo secure. We are losing Charlie. Securing objective Alpha. The enemy took Charlie. Enemy is securing Bravo. Enemy UAV active. Enemy is taking Bravo. Shit, we have lost Bravo. Hostile counter UAV overhead. Enemy
Covering
is
your
securing
six.
Alpha. Securing objective Bravo. We are taking Charlie.
Reloading.
We control Charlie. Свинья. We have lost all objectives. Failure is not an option. We're getting hit hard. Hostile sentry is active. Secure Bravo. The enemy holds all objectives. Secure those positions. We are taking Alpha. Mission failed. Return
I
to
was gonna
base.
say, did I start that in the middle of the game? Of course I did. I only got 3 kills? What, do you get a bunch of assists or something? Wait, I only got 3 captures? What are you doing? What the fuck is this? Right. Hold on. Go. What? Move. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Or get down. Lay down. Jesus.
Headquarters. Headquarters located. Get moving.
Loading!
HQ is active. Get moving. Enemies on the objective.
Changing mag!
Enemy in the area. Secure the HQ. We're capturing the HQ. Set security. We have taken the lead. Enemy inside the perimeter.
Damn it.
Clear. We're losing our headquarters.
Tossing grenade!
Enemy near the HQ. Secure the perimeter. Enemy in the area.
Changing mags! Switching mags!
Enemy inside the perimeter. Clear. Headquarters is being captured. The enemy destroyed our headquarters. Deploying reinforcements.
Blood for blood! Reloading!
UAV in the area.
Dishonor your family. Enemy combatant spotted.
Headquarters online. Secure the objective. The enemy is capturing the objective. Enemy near the HQ. Secure the perimeter. Hardline online. We're securing the headquarters.
Sniper's down. Incoming! Semtex out! Enemy fighter here! Door's done! Reloading! I've got your back. Switching mags. Incoming!
Enemy in the area. Secure the
Dishonor your
HQ.
family. Changing mag!
Enemy near the HQ. Secure the perimeter. The enemy is capturing our headquarters.
Okay, what do you need to do about it?
Control of the HQ. Sending reinforcements.
I got your back.
Our UAV is orbiting the area. HQ located. Move to the objective.
Loading.
Bro, what are you doing?
Capture the objective. The enemy is securing the headquarters.
Throwing grenade.
Enemy inside the perimeter. Clear him out.
Got eyes on the enemy!
Enemy near the HQ. Secure the perimeter. Securing the objective now.
Swapping mags! Semtex incoming!
Quick fix. We're securing the headquarters. You're halfway to mission complete. Keep it up. Lost the HQ. Reinforcements inbound.
Fire! Switching mags!
Reloading.
Next objective located. Move to secure. Standing by.
That is repaid. Switching mags.
Headquarters online. Secure the objective. Enemies on the objective. Enemy controls the HQ. Enemy inside the perimeter. Clear him out.
Enemy fighter!
Securing the enemy HQ. Stand by.
Changing mags! Hey! I'm on your side!
Damn it.
Fight! Go help me! Incoming!
HQ located.
Puppers.
Move to the objective.
Contact!
HQ is active. Get it secure. Securing the objective now. Secure the perimeter.
There it was.
Capturing the HQ.
Changing mags.
Incoming!
Oh, shit.
Enemy inside the perimeter. Clear him out.
Requesting air
Overwatch
support!
helo in the area. Enemy in the area. Secure the HQ. Our headquarters is being captured.
Come on.
We lost control of the HQ. Sending reinforcements.
Stop.
Covering your six! Enemy incoming! Reloading!
HQ confirmed. Push to that location. the perimeter. The enemy is capturing the objective. Enemies on the objective.
What the hell?
Requesting recon flyover.
Come on, quit messing with my chair, damn it.
Got eyes on the threat. Enemy contact!
UAV is bingo fuel. RTB at this
Come
time.
on, stop. Stop.
The enemy captured the headquarters.
Stop.
Friendly UAV on station. Fuel. Secure the perimeter. Enemy in the area. Secure the HQ. We're securing the enemy headquarters.
Arg.
HQ is down. Stand by for next location. Enemy UAV active. Hostile cluster mine active. Next objective located. Move to secure.
Enemies in the area. Watching your six. Planting mine!
Friendly UAV online. Hostile UAV in the area. HQ is active. Get it secure. The enemy is securing the headquarters. The enemy secured the headquarters. Care package.
Semtex south! Changing mags! I've got your back.
Our
Changing
UAV
mag.
is orbiting the area.
Son of your phone!
Get into the
I'm reloading!
enemy UAV
Enemy
active.
spotted! Shoot them, not me! On your six!
Confirmed. Push to that location.
Watch your fire! Covering your six! Planting mine!
HQ is online. Capture the objective. We're securing the headquarters. Enemy near the HQ. Secure the perimeter.
Loading.
Enemy inside the perimeter. Clear. We're capturing the HQ. Set security. Hostile SIE in position.
Taking effective fire.
30 seconds remain.
Grenade.
Enemy in the area. Secure the HQ. We're losing our headquarters. Enemy UAV overhead. The enemy destroyed our headquarters. Deploying reinforcements. Friendly
What are you doing? Jesus.
HQ located. Move to the objective.
I can't get it on.
Changing mag.
Changing enemy fire! Grenade! Grenade! Fuck on your back!
Grenades everywhere.
Online. Security object. Enemy near the
Throwing
HQ.
Semtex!
Security perimeter. Hostile UAV in the area.
Healing up!
It's like one of the longest games ever.
Watch your
My guy.
idiota!
Changing mags.
10 seconds remaining. HQ is down. Stand by for next location.
Hey!
Enemy UAV
Stop.
active.
Watching your 6. Enemy spotted!
Move to secure.
Got the sniper!
Friendly UAV online. HQ is online. Capture the objective. Enemy is capturing the objective. The enemy secured the headquarters. Enemy inside the perimeter. Clear him out. We're on the objective. Securing now. We're securing the
mags.
enemy headquarters. We've lost the lead. Headquarters is offline. Confirming your location. Confirmed.
Changing
Push to
mags.
location.
Enemies in the area! Throwing flashbang!
Get it secure. The enemy is securing the headquarters. Mission failed. Return to base.
Tied for second in kills on my team. And I tied for next to the most captures? Yeah. I didn't die the most. Hey. That's something. Would you settle the hell down? Holy hell, I can feel the whole house shaking because you two are running around like crazy-ass animals. What the heck is Capri doing? Capri, where are you? Oh, you appear out of nowhere.
confirmed.
Careful. Damn it. Right on that guy, too.
The lead is ours.
Check fire!
Tag secure. Kill confirmed.
Switching mags!
Confirmed. Enemy KIA.
What are you two fighting over? Freaking cellophane. What are you chewing on?
Stun grenade out!
Line. Confirmed one.
Friendly UAV on station. Enemy UAV overhead. Friendly care package in the AO.
Left, I guess.
Took out their UAV!
Stop.
Loading!
Enemy UAV active.
Reloading! Reloading!
EKIA confirmed.
I'm getting stitched up!
Friendly airstrike in the AO.
Six online.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Reloading!
On your six!
Kill
Fire,
confirmed.
asshole! Switching mags!
Hostile care package in the area. Our mortar strike is inbound.
sake.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Stop.
Enemy contact!
Damn.
Got your cover.
Reloading!
Damn.
Changing mags!
KIA confirmed.
Ready to deploy.
Kill confirmed.
Requesting recon in my location!
Copy. UAV orbiting the AO. Recon is online.
Stop.
Loading!
Confirmed 1.
Hostile cruise missile incoming.
Ooh.
Deploy.
Switching mags!
Bloodthirsty.
UAV overhead.
Target area marked! You cleared home!
Tiger 3-1. UAV in
Shoot.
Go ahead. Target still intact.
Reloading.
Okay. Is that my dude? Yeah.
Enemy incoming.
Target kill confirmed.
Hostile UAV in the area. Our UAV is orbiting the area. Enemy care package incoming.
Last minute.
Online.
Rue, why is it that you can never hold on to a bone? Every time you get a bone, you end up dropping it off the chair.
30 seconds left.
And you always gotta steal it from Capray just so you can
Enemy
drop it off the
precision
chair.
airstrike. Find cover. Friendly care package inbound.
10 seconds.
Jesus, man. What are you doing?
All hunters. Mission
Ow.
accomplished.
Ow.
Tracker job.
Capri, you're too big to fit. the other one go? Come on, Capri. Jeez. Aren't y'all about tired by now? You're still puppies. You've been going hardcore for like 5 hours, 5.5 hours. Lay down. Try this sucker.
Team deathmatch. We've taken the lead.
Changing mag!
Just got a laser on it? Hate lasers. Oh, it does have a stupid laser. I gotta take that off. Ugh.
Enemy in the area.
Hostile cluster mine detected.
Alto.
Throw a grenade! Grenade out! Enemy in the area.
The enemy has the lead.
Totally didn't even see that.
Friendly UAV on station.
Means it won't be there now.
Look around! Very fast here!
We've lost the lead.
The fucking hell?
I see it!
Changing mags!
Dropping ammo here.
Hardline activated.
Tossing frag!
Cluster mine destroyed.
What are you doing?
Hostile UAV in the area.
Out!
Frag flash incoming! Holy shit!
Hostile strike near your position. Hostile care package deployed.
Tossing frag!
Hostile sentry is online.
Reloading.
Reloading!
Ready for
Sniper
tasking.
down!
Taking fire.
Requesting recon in my
Changing mag.
location!
Copy. UAV orbiting the AO. Recon is online.
Hostile gunship entering the AO.
Quick fix.
What the friggin' hell?
Be advised, UAV.
Enemy UAV active.
Mag's almost dry! Oh, shit!
With you till the end.
Come on, get out of my way.
Heilige Scheiße! That was close.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Changing mags!
Watching your six.
Switching mags!
I'm on your six.
They tagged me!
Take care.
Oh, what the fuck?
Enemy UAV active.
Loading! Changing mags! Reloading!
Standing by. Friendly UAV online.
Requesting recon
I've got your
flyover!
back.
Copy. UAV orbiting the AO. Recon is online.
Flash! What's
UAV is being...
Our UAV is orbiting the area. Hostiles deployed a sentry.
Frag out!
Customized set. Friendly more strike on the way.
Damn it.
Changing bags!
Enemy down! Enemy in! Got your cover!
What?
We're losing ground.
Enemy in the area! An eye for an eye.
Friendly
Requesting
more
fire mission.
strike
Target
inbound.
marked. I'm taking fire!
Friendly customized line.
Mission compromised.
I get so many UAVs on. Second on my team. Fifth in the game. Yeah. I think I use that gun. How do I get points for it? Yeah. Do not want a stupid laser on there. 50 round? Alright. Oh, what kind of ammo we got? I'd rather have plus P. Okay. Alright. I need you to hop up. You're so damn hot. I'm like burning up. Yeah. Which one? What's this? Wait, Erica. That's what I wanted. Hey, Jenny. Cracks me up. That's hilarious. I love the internet. I read short afternoon stream and they're live right now, and I'm like, what? It's like the middle of the morning, and then I realized, like, oh right, that dude doesn't live in the U.S. anymore. He went back to Australia. I think he's from Australia. It wasn't New Zealand. I think it was Australia, right? Then where in Australia did he live? And by where, I just mean East Coast, West Coast. Was he like living in Sydney or was he living in Perth? Aprox, because I don't care exactly where. I just want an approximate location. That's what I always told people when I did live streams. Like, just let me know where you're at. Don't tell me exactly where you're at. Just give me the closest big city to you. Because, like, that's what I would do. I wouldn't say I live in this town right here, because that's what I live in, this damn town. I would say the closest city to me is this city over here, way west of me, that takes me like 3 to 5 hours to get to, or this city that's not even the same state that I can get to like in an hour and a half. Yeah. Yeah, because I would either say there or there, yeah. Stop. But I also believe in, not giving away someone's actual location, like doxing them. Or having them dox themselves. That's even worse. Come on, come on. For instance, where I used to live, you could be from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, but you just say Pittsburgh. It's close enough. It's right down the road. I mean, wait, now I gotta like figure this out. I haven't lived there. Oh, wow. I've lived here longer than I've lived in Pennsylvania. And I lived in Pennsylvania for 21 years. Holy crap, I'm 44? So I've lived here for. No. What year is this? 2023. Yeah, so in a couple months, I'll have lived here for 23 years. April the 10th, I moved here officially. Well, technically, I moved here. I don't think officially it was until. Because I got pulled over and the cop was like, "How long have you lived here?" And I'm like, "Oh, I've been here a couple months." And he's like, "Yeah, you got to get your license changed over to North Carolina." Um, Yeah, no, Greensburg, that would take like, oh, I don't know about now, but back when I lived there 24 years ago, I could get from Greensburg to Pittsburgh in, say, a half hour. Because where I lived, I could get to downtown Pittsburgh, like straight up downtown Pittsburgh. I could get there in like 15 to 20 minutes from where I used to live. I remember getting there in 15 minutes once, but I also drove like a maniac, so. When I lived in Pennsylvania, I got so many speeding tickets. I got so many speeding tickets, they made me retake my frickin' driver's test all over again. And then they did, like, I got to a certain number of points on my license. They made me retake my license, and I dropped down like 3 points. And then every year, I went down like 3 points. And I think I got all of my points removed like the year before I moved. Something like that. And I've never had a speeding ticket since. But, like I've said 100 times, probably 1,000, when I moved to North Carolina, the speeding, or not speeding, the speed limits, they make so much sense here. Pennsylvania, it would be like a road with no houses, just like cornfields on the right and cow pastures on the left. And it would go for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles, and it would be 25 mile an hour. And you would just have a random cop sitting on the side of the road that clocked you doing 50 in a 25. Although, I will say that, though, like, what is it in North Carolina? I think 15 over the speed limit in North Carolina is reckless driving. Whereas in Pennsylvania, it was double the speed limit plus 5. So it was a 25 mile an hour speed limit. You had to be clocked over 55 mile an hour before you got reckless driving, which my dad got, fought it in court. He was following a cop, and there was a cop behind him. They were all doing the exact same speed limit, and they were doing like 50 or 50 something in a 25. And granted, it was pretty much a residential street, but it was also a back road, what we would call a back road. Because in like here, well, hell, I don't even know any 25 mile an hour speed limit zones except for up there in Ducktown, which is a highway. It's a highway, and the speed limit goes down to 25 mile an hour. It's also a 2-lane road, 1 lane north, 1 lane south. All right, come on, you gotta hop up, man. I'm like really, really hot. Let me just ditch this stupid shirt. But yeah, he ended up having to go to court over a stupid ticket. And the cop that was in front of him went to court and stuck up for him and said, like, yes, he was following me, I was speeding, so he was just like going with the flow of traffic kind of thing. And the judge still was like, tough crap. And I'm pretty sure my dad lost his license over that, which he drove for a living. So he got a I guess it was be called like a work permit or whatever. So he could drive during his normal business hours, but not after that. So pretty much like it wasn't, but we'll just say like 9 to 5 kind of thing. Like you could drive 9 to 5, but after that, like you're not allowed to like drive to the grocery store at 8 o'clock at night, like that kind of thing. And then I think he had to retake his test. He got a shite load of tickets, but he was always driving. So, and he was always in a hurry. So he'd be like, and he drove all over well, like all over half of the western Pennsylvania. Like the entire thing, like all the way out to State College, all the way to the Ohio line kind of thing. And all the way up to Erie and all the way down to like Washington County and stuff like that. He was just always driving. Hell. Yeah. I can't remember how many accidents I've been in. Me personally, while I was driving, I've been in 3. One was my fault. That was here in North Carolina, which I didn't get a ticket for. It was Black Friday, and everybody slammed on their brakes. I was in a work truck it was a van, and it could not stop, and I just rammed this lady in a Jeep Cherokee right in front of me, which pushed her into the person in front of her, which I've talked about many times. But besides that, it's the funniest thing. I was in Pennsylvania when I lived in Pennsylvania, so statute of limitations. It's been way longer than 7 years. It's been 26, 27 years, something like that. The first one, I remember exactly. It was some motorcycle guy wanted to turn into the Harley dealership, and he slammed on the brakes, and everybody was trying to avoid nailing this stupid motorcyclist, because nobody wants to hit a motorcyclist when you're in a car. Maybe if you're on a bike, you want to hit them, but... And everybody stopped. Everybody got stopped, except for the blue Dodge Daytona that was behind me. Nailed my Jeep Cherokee. I had like a little scratch on my bumper, and he had a giant hitch size like hole in his hood. And then the second time, same Jeep Cherokee, and I had, it wasn't a pound. It must have been like a quarter ounce of weed. That's why I said statute of limitations. I had like a quarter ounce of weed on me. And then the second time, which was like a week or 2, no, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later. It was within the same month. I was pulling out of Burger King. I remember this exactly. It's 2-lane highway, middle turning lane, and then 2-lane highway on the other side. 2 lanes going west. Is that west? See, I can never get my bearings when I was in Pennsylvania. Like, where I live now, I can tell you exactly, that's north right there. Like, I can tell you exactly, that's east, that's where the ocean is. That's west, that's where the sound is, and behind me is south. Like, I know exactly where north, south, east, west are here. But there, I could never figure it out. I'd always have to be like, okay, if you're going this way, you're going away from Pittsburgh, which means... So maybe that would be east. Yeah, because Pittsburgh would have been west from me. Okay, yeah, so eastbound traffic, there was 2 lanes, and then a turning lane, and then there was 2 westbound lanes. And I was pulling out of Burger King, and I came out into the very first lane, and I'm looking, And like I'm getting waved out, like, come on, come on, come on, you're good, like you can go ahead. And I started pulling out, and this dude was flying so fast that, like, by the time I got out into the second. Wait, was that the eastbound? Whatever the fuck lane it was, who cares? But by the time I got out into the second lane, I was like, oh my god, there's a dude flying right at me. And I floored it. And I just went forward, and they nailed me right on like the rear tire, the gas door, rear quarter panel, and all that stuff. And that flipped me all around into the turning lane, which the cops showed up and were like, what was going on? And I explained everything, and I had another quarter ounce on me, or maybe I had a half ounce on me at that point. But as soon as I got hit, I was like, meet me over here on the opposite side of Burger King was McDonald's. So we pulled into McDonald's, and it was freaking hilarious because we pulled in there, and I was like, my buddy was in the car with me. I'm like, dude, grab my book bag and go into McDonald's. Like, just get the hell away from this scene. Because there's like a whole pile of weed in my book bag. And he grabbed it and he went into McDonald's. And he didn't come out until the cops left. But it was hilarious. The cops came and they were like, what happened? And both of us explained our side. He was like, oh, he just pulled out in front of me. And I was like, I looked, there was nobody coming. So he must have been in the slow lane, going so fast that he had to go into the fast lane and then nail me as I'm pulling across the thing, because everybody in the slow lane was stopped. He must have like came up on them so quick that he was like, oh my god, and just like swerved into the fast lane. I don't know what the hell they call it. They call them like lane 1 and lane 2 now, which doesn't make any sense to me. The slow lane was the right lane. The fast lane is the left lane. And the guy was like, oh yeah, like he just like came out of nowhere. And I was like, I looked. I got waved out by a guy in the slow lane. I'm going across the fast lane, and all of a sudden this guy comes out of nowhere flying and nailed my truck. And anyway, the cop ruled it no fault, I believe, on both parties. I believe it was just no fault. Like, there was an accident. That guy shouldn't have been going so fast. You shouldn't have been pulling out. Like, it was just no fault. Like, no contest kind of thing. And the funniest part was the guy's like, well, who's going to pay to get my car towed? And the cop was like, well, why do you need your car towed? And he's like, well, look at it. And like, he had a Honda Civic. I was in a Jeep Cherokee. And his whole front end was just smashed. Like, now that I know what I know about cars, I wouldn't have drove it. Like, your radiator's probably gone, and your engine's going to overheat, and you're going to just lock up your engine. Like, bearings are going to seize, like, all that crap. You're going to ruin your engine. But the cop told him, well, you wrecked over there, and now your car's over here. How did you get over here? And the guy was like, well, I drove. And the cop told him, well, then drive home. At the time, I thought that was hilarious. Now, looking back on it, I'm like, man, if that cop had just a little bit of knowledge about a vehicle, like, I would never tell that guy to drive that vehicle home. I'd have been like, no, call up a tow truck and have it towed. Like, you're going to need some work done. Like, personally, I would have a tow truck take it to my house, and I would replace the radiator. And then after that, then start worrying about the hood, the bumper, the crash support, like all that kind of stuff. I would mainly make it so that the vehicle doesn't overheat and lock up, which it probably did. I'm willing to bet it did. But I never got in trouble as far as the insurance company goes. Like, my insurance company, when I talked to them, they were like, yeah, no, seems like it was that guy's fault. So, yeah, they're not making a claim on you. We're not making a claim on them. Just do your thing. And then me and my buddy tried to fix the damage of the rear quarter panel. What happened with that? We did a really crappy job. I know that for sure. It was like a whole pile of Bondo. And we did a horrible job. I remember that for sure. Cause it had like this big mound. It's just kind of funny. I probably should have got hit there again. Although it was a Jeep Cherokee, how the heck would you do that? You would have to like get a new quarter panel and like cut out the old one and then weld in the new one and then grind it all down and then seam seal and Bondo and then repaint and all that stuff. Well, I kind of never thought about that until right now. What are you doing? Why are you eating things? Hey! Hey! Jesus Christ, man. This fucking dog. What the fuck are you eating? Stop. Oh. Grand Theft Auto, Vice City Stories. Garbage. Yeah, I think if I hope I don't get that kind of damage again ever. But I think if it happened again, I think I could totally handle that so much better. As far as the repair goes. But it was hilarious. The cops ended up leaving, and my buddy just comes strolling out of the McDonald's with my backpack. He's like, hey, man, like, here's your weed back. And I was like, awesome. Hop in the truck, man. Let's take off. And we left. Like, my truck was just barely damaged. Like, most of the damage, or most of the impact was on the top, or the rim of the rear left wheel. Well, a rim is a wheel. But, yeah, I don't know. It was just funny. Well, it was kind of funny because that was like my second accident within a month, and it wasn't my fault. Oh, yeah, the cop, I think it was rolled no fault, but the cop told me, he was like, yeah, if anything, he's at fault because he hit you in the rear part of your vehicle. So therefore, he should have been stopping. And if he couldn't stop, he was traveling too fast for conditions, which there was no conditions. It was like perfectly fine outside. Which is kind of funny now that I think about it. Like, so if he was at fault, why was it a no fault accident? Because the first one was definitely rolled. The Daytona was at fault because he rear-ended me. Actually, now that I'm thinking, I don't know. That's been like, how long did I live here? 23 years, almost 23 years. So that was like 25, 26 years ago? 27 years ago? That was a long time ago. And I really haven't thought about it. So, and whenever you remember something, you're only remembering the last time you remembered something. Wrap your mind around that. So like the last time you're like, oh, remember that time I went to I almost said Cedarwood. Um, well, screw it. We'll go to the one that was right down the street from me, Kennywood, which it used to be. I don't know if it is now. I haven't been around that area. It's a bad heroin and crack area, I'll tell you that much. But Kennywood used to be like they called it the roller coaster capital of America. They used to have the Phantom, the Steel Phantom. They replaced the, oh, what did they call that? It was just a roller coaster that, well, I mean, it would start here, but like for demonstration purpose, it would like go at a high point and it would go down and it would do a loop and then go up and then be high and then come back and do a loop and go up, and like it would just do that over and over again. And it was famous because it, like, there was a bunch of times it messed up and it would just keep on going over and over and over again, and people got stuck on it, which I always loved that ride. Oh, the laser loop. I think they called it the laser loop. But they tore it down and then they built the Steel Phantom, which was uh, the tallest climb in America, the steepest drop in America, the fastest roller coaster, because it was like 80 mile an hour, and the most amount of loops. And then they tore that down, and then they made the Phantom's Revenge, and I haven't been back since. So that was like, well, that was 95, 96, the last time I was there. So what is that, like 26 years? Something like that. But yeah, we like every year over Memorial Day, I always have to think about it. Like Labor Day, you work all summer, and then there's Labor Day, whereas Memorial Day is the first one before the summer starts. Like I think it was every Memorial Day, yeah, Monday, because we were off school, and school was off on Tuesday too. Just because, like, Monday we'll go to the park, and then Tuesday we'll have off just so you can recover, kind of thing. And we would go every single year, and growing up, because it was a long weekend, we would come down to North Carolina and visit my grandparents who lived here. And my parents started a tradition that on the way home from here, so like Memorial Day, we would stop off, or Tuesday even, we would stop off at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg. Actually, yeah, that's what it was. We would go to Busch Gardens on Monday, and then we would go to, well, it's Williamsburg, but what is it? Victorian Williamsburg, where like they all dress up in old time attire and do old timey things, and that kind of stuff, which was, I thought, was freaking awesome. I never got to like hang out with my friends at the park that the whole school went to. Hey, what are you destroying now? Jesus Christ, man. Why do you have to destroy everything? But we would go and like just hang out for a couple days. It was always pretty damn cool. That's where I got like really into history, because we would go there like every year for like I don't know, like 6 years or something like that. When I got towards like close to my senior year, I don't know if I was a sophomore, junior, senior, whatever, but it was like junior, senior, definitely. That's like the only time we actually went to Kennywood. Which one of the cool things is, come on, stop. I don't need fighting dogs in my lap. You get down too, because you're really hot. Stop. But I've watched a whole pile of documentaries about roller coasters and stuff, and they have Kennywood in there, and they talk about the Laser Loop, the Steel Phantom, the Phantom's Revenge, like all that stuff. I'm sure they tore it down and made something else, because the Laser Loop was nothing special, but the Steel Phantom, like I said, that was like the fastest roller coaster, the most amount of loops, the highest climb, the steepest descent, because it was right on the side of the river, and it went all the way up like really high, and then it just dropped right down over the hill into what would you call that? I don't know, close to the river. And then it would like come back up and do some loops and do some things and blah blah blah. So I'm sure the Phantom's Revenge, I think that was like even more, because there was like a place in Japan that beat their record. Like all of the records. Like it went faster, higher, more descent, like all that, everything, more loops, all that stuff. And I think they tore down the Phantom, the Steel Phantom, to make a new. What the hell are you doing? Stop messing things up. Jesus, man. So someone in some park in Japan made a better one. So they tore down the Steel Phantom and made the Phantom's Revenge, which I think regained all of those titles. And I'm pretty sure immediately another park beat them. Because it was like the roller coaster war back then. But it was really cool that, and I'm not even joking, it was like 15 minutes from where I lived. I just drove from suburbia, like nice suburbia that every wholesome family would like to live in, and you drove 15 minutes, and well, yeah, it's been like 27 years or something like that. I had friends that were buying heroin from a dealer, and literally I could see the entrance to the park. Like it was like right there. Yeah, like I could, well, yeah. I couldn't throw a football or a baseball that far, but somebody could throw a football or a baseball and hit the entrance of the park from the house that my friend was getting heroin from. Which, by the way, is why I moved from Pennsylvania. All my friends were getting hooked on heroin, and I was like, fuck this shit, man. I'm out. I don't mind drinking or smoking weed, but I don't need to get any more hardcore than that, man. And they would. Move. Move. Actually, the exact moment that I'm talking about, where we were right there next to Kennywood and they were buying heroin, that was one of the moments where I was like, I need to not be here anymore. Like, If I keep hanging out here, I'm either A, gonna get addicted to something, or I'm gonna go to jail because of someone. And then I moved, and then I never have to worry about that again. Although one of my friends, well, I've told the story a million times, but he was really into coke, which I was too with him, and we would do coke all the time together. And then I decided I don't like wasting so much money because every paycheck we would get a quarter ounce and share it, and it would last one night. Maybe we would have a little bit left over for the next night. And then I got him out of coke, and then he decided to start before I got him out of coke, he started injecting coke, and then I got him off of that, and he was clean. And then he found heroin, and he started snorting heroin, and then he started injecting heroin. And from there, after I moved here, actually, it was like a week before this, he called me up and was like, "Hey, man, I need to get clean. I gotta move. Like, can I come stay with you for a while?" And I couldn't have any guests at my house. It was in my contract. It was my aunt and uncle that I was living with, technically. Actually, it was more like I was taking care of their place. But they had a contract. Stop! I had a contract that said I couldn't, it was literally said, quote, no overnight guests. So, like, I guess if I had a friend come over and they got drunk and didn't want to drive home, like, I would be breaching my contract, which is so dumb. But it was in the contract. And so I was like, no, dude, you can't come and stay with me because it's against my contract. Like, he wanted to come and stay for like a month or two. Come on, get down. Come on. You're so damn hot right now. I don't mean that in a good way. And so my friend that wanted to get clean, because he wanted to come here because then he wouldn't know anybody that he could get his stuff from, which I still feel really bad about that. But I had to tell him, I'm sorry, you can't. Like, even though my aunt and uncle probably would never know about it, he could have stayed with me for like a month or two. But I told him he couldn't. And then, like a month or two later, my dad called me and said, yeah, that's why Rue, wherever the heck she is, Rubert, I call her Rubert, that's why there's the Bert at the end, because this guy's name was Lee. And stop. In high school, his girlfriend, which was my best friend, would call him, they both were my best friend, but, stop! Quit licking my chair, you weirdo. But she would call him Liebert, because his name was Lee. And, like a month or two after he called me and asked if he could come stay with me, my dad called me and said, yep, he killed himself. Tried to rob a bank. Well, he did rob a bank. Him and another friend of mine who didn't get busted. And Lee ended up getting busted, and he robbed it on a Friday. They caught up with him on a Sunday, and Monday they found him dead in jail. Because he killed him, he hung himself in jail. Which, back in the day, when I guess I was a junkie, because we were doing cocaine and stuff. We used to discuss that all the time. Like, oh man, if I ever get busted, like I'll just like hang myself in jail. And then next thing I know, he's dead. Hung himself in jail exactly the same manner that we were talking about. Hence, Rupert. That's how the Bert came. Because she has no idea what her actual name is. She thinks her name is Rupert, but it's actually a Russa kid. Named after Aaron Russo. Well, actually, I feminized it. So his name is Aaron Russo, like Arusso, and I feminized it with an A at the end. So a Russa. And then I added the Ru, well, a Russa kid. And then I added the Ru after the fact. And now, like, I just call her Rupert. But that's why she's Rupert. Because of my friend that killed himself. Come on. I'm hot as hell. Why not? But anyway, that was story time. With some of the same stories I've said probably at least 100 times. I mean, Capri Kid, all of my dogs have the name Kid at the end. After the best dog ever. DV Kid. And all my pit bulls will always be a kid. But Capri was named when Susie told me. She mentioned Capri. And I was like, what the hell is that? And she's like, it's Egyptian from Morning Sun. And I was like, done. I love Egypt. Alright, let's see what happens here. Aw, crap. Prisoner rescue. That means I only got one life. Well, let's see if we can do something. And this concludes story time.
Prisoner rescue.
Here, screw it. Let's go with this.
Watching your six, soldier!
Okay. I don't even know if I've ever used this gun. But I named it Lucy, so I'm going to start using it. Oh, I don't know. You want to hear another story? I don't know. What other story can I tell? I got all kind of crazy stories. Well, from like 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 years ago. I don't have any crazy stories in the last 20 years.
We took the last that round. Be ready for the
Because
next.
I moved here because all my friends were getting into heroin. There you go. My one friend, so my buddy Liebert,
Prisoner rescue.
that robbed the bank, the getaway driver,
Hunter 1, locate the prisoners and move them to the extraction point.
he was big into heroin too. And he actually wanted to come here. Actually, he did come here once. But he wanted to come here.
Charging
But he was a getaway driver. Never got caught. Because he was driving Lee's car. So they caught Lee and took him to jail, and the other dude just got away. Which, I don't know, is there a statute of limitations on robbing a bank? I don't want to, like, give away his name, even though he should have been caught. Like, I almost wish that he, especially after Lee killed himself, like, I just felt like he should have been caught.
Hardline.
Thanks, soldier.
Boom! Which I do have, like, a lot of resentment about that.
New mag! Watching your six.
Secured a prisoner.
Because I feel like he
Extraction.
helped kill Lee.
One prisoner
didn't.
extracted, one to go. 1
But,
minute left.
you know what I mean? Like, he contributed to getting Lee killed. Boom!
That rounds out.
And I still, like, I don't know. Even if he called me up right now, I don't think I'd talk to him.
Switching sides.
Because I feel like that was just so messed
Prisoner
up.
rescue.
I mean, he did what he had to do. He got away with it. So,
Prisoner secure.
I mean, I don't know. You can't be exactly mad at him for not getting arrested.
Taking effective fire.
But
Hostile
Lee's
mortar
dead.
strike incoming.
Even though it was Lee's idea. I'm pretty sure.
He's
Changing
online.
mags!
But I do remember, like, the guy was just,
The enemy
I don't want
is
to say
moving the prisoner. Stop
reckless,
them.
but he can't. How the hell did we go from 6-on-1 to like 1-on-6?
Lost that round. Stand by for the next one.
But he did come here and visit me, and just pulled his. That bothers the hell out of me. He pulled his truck
Prisoner rescue.
into the sand, dug a hole under his
All
vehicle,
hunters,
and
enemy
drained
team
his
is
oil
approaching. Don't let
right
them
into the
extract
sand.
prisoners.
I'll cover you.
And then I was like, what do you mean? Like, I don't understand why that's a bad thing. I'm like, you're just, like, dumping oil into the ground. Like, you can't just do that.
I'm reloading.
And he was like, oh, I just needed to change my oil. And I'm like, yeah, get a pan.
Activated.
Like, why can't you just get a pan, like, whatever, like, an oil changing pan? Like, why can't you do that? Like, why do you feel like you can just, like, dump it back into the earth? And he's like, oh, who cares? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, environmentalists will, and I'm not an environmentalist, but I care. Like, why would you do that? You don't just dump oil back into the earth. And he's like, oh, that's where it came from. I don't know. I just was so mad. I was like, yeah, you can't come and visit me anymore. And then the bank robbery thing went off. And I was like, yeah, I don't want any part of anything that these people are doing, because they're I guess technically crazy. I guess. I don't know. Who the hell just like digs a hole and like opens up their oil and dumps it
Ready for tasking.
into the freaking ground?
Requesting recon in my
Like,
location.
that's just messed up, man. I'm not an environmentalist at all, but I totally think that was messed up. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if I'm very crazy about that or what, because I think that's very reasonable as just being a human that lives on this earth.
Thanks for that.
I'm not an environmentalist. Well, I guess I am, but I'm not like one of the crazy ones that are like freaking out over climate change or, you know, whatever the newest thing that's going on is.
Just lost that round. Be ready for the next.
Holy shit, I'm in first. I just think it's messed up. I would never do that.
Switching sides.
I don't even think this is correct, but I'll like put it into a pan, put the old used oil back into the new oil container, and just throw it in the garbage can. I'm pretty sure that's not even environmentally sound. But it's not just dumping it into the earth.
Subtax incoming! Loading!
I mean, I understand that the oil came from the earth, but that doesn't mean you gotta, like, dump it back into the earth. There's ways to, like, go about it. Ah, I saw that guy right at the last second.
Sniper's down!
I don't know. Would you do that? Would you just go ahead and dig a hole
They tacked me!
and then just drain your oil right into a hole in the ground and then cover it back up and be like, yeah, everything's fine? Because I wouldn't. I just think that's messed up. Revive that guy. Revive that dude. Or that'll happen.
Mission failed. Return to base.
Yeah, I lost a lot of respect for that dude after that. I got first place on my team. I tied for second amount of kills in the entire game. With a gun that I've never used. No, apparently did I use it? Did I use it? Oh yeah, I'm level 10 out of 19. Yeah, apparently I used it. But that dude that I was talking about, he actually came and visited me. Here, wait, hang on. Let me just hang out for a second. Whoa, what's going on? He came and visited me once against the whole contract that I had with my aunt and uncle. I was like, whatever, dude. You're only gonna be here for like 2, 3 days. The other dude like wanted to move here. Lee wanted to move here, and I was like, yeah, I can't have that. But this dude I'm talking about, the getaway driver, he just wanted to come and hang out for a little bit. Actually, he wanted to come here. I think he came in, spent the night, and the next day we got in his car and we drove to Fayetteville to the army base. Because I don't even remember who the heck the guy was. We had a friend that, or wait, was it? No, his name wasn't Sean. I can picture him in my head. I just can't get his name. But a friend of ours, when he was like really, really bad, and he ended up like going into the army. Army? I mean, it wasn't the Navy. Was it the Army or the Marines? I think it was the Army. And he went there. So we were like, let's go, like, find him. Let's go, like, down there to the base and we'll, like, hang out with him. Which we made it to the base. We ended up, like, talking to people. We got onto the base and we talked to people and they were pretty much like, yeah, like, we can't tell you where he is. So we never ended up seeing him. But on our way, this is how I know. This is how I know that North Carolina, it's 15 mile an hour over the speed limit, is reckless driving. And so he drove down. I think he spent the night with me at the condo that I was living at. And then the next day, in the early morning, we woke up and we started driving to Fayetteville. We started driving to Fayetteville, and my buddy was doing 80 in a 50. Got pulled over. It took the cop, oh my God, it was like 15 or 20 miles before the cop actually caught up with us. But the cop caught up with us, arrested my buddy, and meanwhile, we were drinking the night before. And I remember the cop was like, "Are you good to drive?" And I remember thinking, like, I am still so drunk from last night. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine to drive." And he's like, "Okay, cool. Like, just follow me." And I'm like, "Okay." So I get in my buddy's car. And now I'm driving it, and I got to follow him to the jail because he's from out of state. So he has to get uh, arraigned, and he has to get admitted to the jail, and he has to get arraigned with charges because reckless driving, and he's out of state. If it was me driving and reckless driving, they would have just been like, "Here's a ticket, come to court on this date." But he's from out of state, so they had to arrest him. I had to bail him out of jail. He gave me his credit card, or I think it was credit card, because that dude, he was the first person I ever knew that filed for bankruptcy before he was 18. But he gave me a whatever, like a bank card or a credit card or whatever, and was like, "Just get me out of jail." And I was like, "Okay." And it was like $300 or something like that. So I had to drive his vehicle and follow the cop. The cop was speeding his ass off. So we're going across the bridge, and it's like 55? It was either 50 or 55, and the cop was doing like 70 across the bridge. And I'm looking in my rear view, and there's a cop behind me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get pulled over. I'm going to get a DUI. Like, I was so paranoid. And nothing happened. But I made it. I followed the cop all the way to the jail. We pulled in, and he's like, "I'm gonna take your buddy in." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to the ATM and I'm gonna get cash so I can bail him out." And he was like, "Awesome, we'll be here." And I'm like, "Okay." So I left. I went to the closest ATM that I could find, and I pulled out all the money with my buddy's card. He gave me the passcode and shit like that, and I pulled out all the money to get him out of jail, which is kind of funny. Well, I mean, that just shows how much of an honest person that I am, because I'm just thinking right now, like, I could have pulled out like an extra $200 and like just pocketed that and been like, no, man, like, I don't know what's going on. But I didn't do that. I think it was like $300, and I pulled out $300 with his card. And then I went to the jail, and I was like, I need to bail my buddy out. And they were like, okay, yeah, here you go. Like, fill out these forms. I filled out the forms. And they were like, okay, yeah, your friend will be out in a minute. And then my buddy came out, and no, that wasn't that time. Oh, that wasn't. Oh, that's another funny ass fucking story. But so my buddy came out, like I bailed him out, and he was like, "Let's go, let's get to Fayetteville." And I'm like, "Are you sure? Like you just got out of jail?" And he's like, "Hell yeah, that's what I came to do. I'm going to Fayetteville." I'm like, "All right." So we hopped in his car and drove all the way to Fayetteville. Got our way into the base. I don't know why they let us onto the base, but we ended up going to some office, and we're like, hey, Justin. I don't remember his last name, which I wouldn't say anyway on a live stream, but it was just, oh, that's right. Oh, Justin was a crazy ass person. Me and him I had one day off every week, and we would take acid and go to the mall every single day off. Oh, it was insane. Like, we did so much acid. I'm talking for like a year or 2 years or something like that. Every single day off, we would take acid and we would go to the mall. And we would walk around the mall until we were so messed up. And we would take a lot of acid. Like, well, the guy I'm talking about that got arrested, he tried to dose me with acid after I said I'll never do acid again. Like, I did a lot of acid, and this dude was like, come on, man, let's do some more acid. And I was like, dude, if you dose me, I will freaking beat your ass. Because well, I don't want to say I was bigger than him, because I'm kind of a smaller guy. I was probably about the same size. Maybe he was a couple inches shorter than me, maybe a couple pounds lighter than me. But I remember specifically saying, if you dose me, I will beat the living crap out of you. Like, that's how much I didn't want to do acid, and I've never done acid since. That was, oh, I don't know, 97? Something like that. It's been definitely like the 90s. Definitely the 90s, because I haven't done it since I moved here. But with me and Justin, we would do acid every single day off. Because I worked at a restaurant. I only had one day off a week. And we would do acid and go to the mall. And we would walk around until we got, like, totally messed up. Like, I remember specifically there was a knitting shop, and they had a knitted old lady in a rocking chair. And we would see that, and we would be like, oh my God, like, that lady is real. And, like, that was the point where we're like, okay, we're too messed up. Like, we gotta go. And I remember we always parked in the parking garage, and we would leave. And then we would leave there, leave from the mall, and because it was always like we were always laughing so much because it was so fun. And then we would leave the mall and we would go to, it was Jeanette, and just outside of Pittsburgh. If you know where the hell I'm talking about, you know it's kind of like the ghetto. Not exactly the ghetto, but pretty much the ghetto. And we would go to Jeanette, and we would go to, was it Giant Eagle? No, I think it was Shop and Save. I don't know. It was a grocery store, and his brother worked there, and he would get weed. I didn't smoke weed at the time. I couldn't smoke weed at the time because I just couldn't do it. He would get weed, and then he would get high. And he was always driving, by the way. He used, how would I describe this? I don't know. It was this old guy that pretty much, he wasn't homeless. He had a place to live, but he was not right in the head. And you might as well just call him homeless. Like, he was not there at all. And Justin would take his car, and that's what we were using to get to the mall, going to the grocery store where his brother worked, getting the weed. And then we would end up like right where we worked, which was right behind another grocery store. Was that Giant Eagle? I think it was, yeah, it was Giant Eagle. And then we would sit there for like an hour or two because we were so messed up that we would argue over who was going into the grocery store to get orange juice. Because orange juice will, like, totally intensify your high. And then we would get orange juice, get all messed up, and then pretty much, like, he would drop me off at home and then take the guy's car home. Oh, yeah. I got, like, so many freaking stories. Well, from back in the day. I don't have many stories from, like, lately. Like, lately meaning, like, the last, like, 23 years. I mean, again, that's why I moved here. Because I knew I was heading in the wrong direction. And I figured, screw it. And I moved here, and I was already an alcoholic. But I just stayed on the alcoholic weed trajectory. But yeah, what's the other story I was gonna say? Well, I don't know. I guess, I mean, statute of limitations. I can talk about the last time that I took acid. Because I used to take acid a lot. Here, this is gonna take a longer cigarette than that. Back in the day, I ended up getting a hookup for acid, and I could get a sheet, which a sheet is 100 hits. So I was buying them like 100 hits at a time. And then at that time, they were $5 a piece. Well, that was the going price. That's what normal people did. If I didn't like you, it was $10, $15 a piece. But I forget what it cost for a sheet. I want to say it was like $300, which makes it $3 a piece. Because it was 100 hits. I don't know. Whatever the amount was, when I made my money back, after that, I would just share it with my friends. So, like, we were doing, like, 10 hits at a time. I remember, like, my friend Lee that I was talking about earlier, he was like, give me, like, like 7, 8 hits in the shape of L. And I would cut it out, and it would be, like, in the shape of an L. And he's like, yeah, L for Lee. And then I would do, like, a T for Tom. And, like, we would just do things like that. And we would try to outdo ourselves. It'd be like, oh, you're doing 10 hits? I'll do 12. Like, we would just go nuts with it. I don't remember where I was going with that. But I do remember pretty much the funniest acid story that I've ever had is we had a buddy Murray. He was an alcoholic. He ended up dying from hepatitis C. R.I.P. Murray. I loved Murray. Oh no, that's what I was going for. Was with Justin, the guy that I would like do acid with. I was buying weed from him. Was it him? Yeah, he was the guy that came up with a $15 eighth of weed. And he would go hardcore no matter what he was doing. If he was drinking, he'd go hardcore. If he was doing acid, he would go hardcore. If he was smoking weed, he would go hardcore. It doesn't matter. He was hardcore. But this guy got a lot of weed. And he got it. No, it wasn't Justin. No. That was, I don't remember his name. Which is probably a good thing. But he created the $15 eighth. It was like the first time ever we had a $15 eighth. It was crappy weed, but he was charging $15 for an eighth. And I remember one night, me and the dude that came here that got reckless driving charges, we were hanging out, and we got a phone call. And it was from this dude. I can't remember what the hell his name was. No, it was Justin. Yeah, it was Justin. And he called us up and he's like, dude, I just got a DUI. Like, I just threw a pound of weed out the window of my car and I just got charged with a DUI. Like, they didn't find the weed, Like, he was at a party, and the party got raided, and he ended up, like, wrecking into, like, a fence, and then, like, hauled ass, and the cops followed him. He threw, like, a pound of weed out the window. The cops never saw the pound of weed, but he ended up, like, getting caught and arrested. And he's like, I need a ride back to my apartment. And he was my dealer. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. We'll come pick you up. Like, I don't even remember what the hell we were doing, because obviously we weren't drinking that night. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I'll come pick you up. Like, no problem. And so I drive to the police station, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm here to pick up Justin. And they were like, oh, yeah, like, he's, like, just getting done, getting booked, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. I remember we were high as hell, but we were not drinking, because I was not afraid to go to the police station. And so we're there, and they're like, yeah, it'll just be a couple more minutes. And I'm like, okay, yeah, take your time. Like, I just want to get my buddy out of jail. Because they were releasing him because it was a DUI. They just wanted to release him to someone who was not drunk, and I was not drunk. So they're like, okay, yeah, he'll be out in a couple minutes. And I'm like, okay, cool. So, like, we're waiting in, like, the waiting room area type thing. And I remember he finally got done being processed. And he comes through the doors. I'm like, dude, what happened? He's like, dude, no time to talk. I just dumped a whole We're in the police station still. Like, the guy behind the bulletproof glass can hear us. And he's like, dude, I just dumped a bunch of weed all over the road. We got to go find it. And I'm like, shut up. Like, don't say shit like that. Like, I don't want to be an accomplice for whatever thing that you're about to do. But he was like, yeah, we gotta go, we gotta go. And I'm like, all right, let's go, let's go, let's go. We got in my truck and we went back, and I was like, I can't be a part of this. So I'll let you out of the car. You find as much as you can, like, on the side of the road, and I'll just, like, circle around. I'll just keep doing circles, and when you're ready, just flag me down, and I'll pick you back up. And he's like, okay. And my other friend, I think he jumped out and helped. I can't remember. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he stayed in the car. But, so I let him out, and he went, and, like, out of a pound, I think he found, like, 3 ounces out of 16 ounces. And so he was just like, flagged me down. And I'm like, all right, hop into the fucking truck. So he hops into my truck, and he's like, I'm so fucking drunk. Like, I just want to go home. And I'm like, all right, like, I'll take you home. So I took him to his apartment, and we pulled in, and he was like, come on up. And I'm like, okay. And me and my buddy came up with him. And I remember he dumped everything that he found. It was like 3 ounces onto the table. And he was just like, I am so drunk that I have to go to sleep. So there's 3 ounces on the table. Smoke anything that you want because you helped me out. I'm going to sleep. And I was like, all right. So me and my buddy, we just sat there and smoked for, like, I don't know, probably an hour. We really didn't smoke that much. But we smoked, like, we were trying to smoke as much as we could. And then we were like, all right, let's just take off. But the funniest part was the next day. We talked to Murray, who was my friend that died from hepatitis C, who, like, was a junkie and everything. We talked to him, and he's like, dude, I walked out because this was all in front of his house. And he's like, I walked out, like going to get the mail, and I found like 3 ounces of weed like scattered all across the road. So Murray ended up getting like 3 or 4 ounces of weed or something like that, which I just thought was fucking hilarious. And then we smoked a whole pile of it, so like our buddy Justin just ended up losing a whole pile of money and getting a DUI. But I don't know. I thought it was a pretty funny story. Because, I mean, it's all freaking true. Oh, man. I still remember that night like it was yesterday. It was so funny. Because we were just smoking weed. And we just get a phone call, and it's like, dude, I just got a DUI. I need a ride. And he was my dealer. Like, he was the guy that created the $15 eighth. And we're like, all right, well, we got to go get him. Like, this guy hooks us up with weed all the time. Like, how can we not go and get him? And then, like, we end up, like, going on this hunt for weed. And then the next day, Murray's just like, oh, I found all this weed outside of my house. It was just freaking hilarious. I mean, I got tons of stories like this. Like, oh man. I mean, there's some stories that I just kind of don't want to talk about, but yeah. Oh, yeah. When we went to Fayetteville, Justin was the one that we were actually going to see because he fucked up so much. He ended up dropping out of school, starting working at the restaurant that we worked at full time when he was like 16 because he was morning shift. And he was working there full time. Yeah, because he wasn't homeless, but you might as well call him homeless. Crazy old guy. That dude worked there full time, and he was morning shift as well. I was always afternoon shift. But yeah, me and Justin would go and trip on acid like every single day off for like 2 years. Man, I'm so glad I don't live there anymore. I would be so screwed if I lived there. I mean, that's why I moved. I might be an alcoholic, but at least I'm not hooked on heroin or crack or coke. I quit coke so long ago. I quit acid so long ago. And then my buddy was like, oh, I'm going to douse you. I'm like, you douse me and I'm going to beat the living crap out of you. I've never done acid since, I don't know, 97, maybe 98. It was not 99 or 2000 because that's when I started drinking. I'll do mushrooms. I'll do that, but acid? No. Never again.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Dust yourself off. We're good.
Team deathmatch.
Reloading.
Yeah, no desire to even attempt to do any more acid. Arg. Ah, shite.
Hostiles launched a cruise missile. Hostiles launched an SAE.
Check fire.
Switching mags.
Approaching from the rear. Got eyes on the door.
Flash, watch your eyes. Loading.
Hardline. Enemy UAV overhead.
Swapping mags.
Changing mags. Gas me.
Swapping mags.
Yeah, it makes me wonder where the hell Justin is.
Hostile cruise missile launched.
Saw that coming. Why am I looking at the ground?
Enemy UAV active.
I'm taking. I am wounded.
The enemy is gaining ground. Push them back.
Switching mags.
And why do I gotta suck?
Friendly UAV on station.
I did not hit that guy in 3 shots. Come on, come on, come on, come on. It's spinning me around.
UAV overhead.
Enemy in the
Hostile
area.
airstrike near your location. Make
Oh, what? Stop looking at me. Stop. Lay down. Lay down.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Threats in the area. Changing mags. I got your back. Using drill charge.
Down!
That was a bad throw.
Enemy UAV overhead. Friendly UAV online. Hostile UAV in the area.
Lame.
Enemy UAV active.
Troops in contact.
Getting hit hard.
Oh, really? Hit the first guy, but he was already dead.
Compromised. We failed.
I heard six. Okay. $13 deaths. Second from last on my team. What you doing? Hmm? Hang on. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. There we go. No more boogers. Oh, he had someone that's on too. I didn't even see him. All good. I think. Hang on. Hang on. Okay. You're all good. Yeah. Or wait, is that some? Yeah. What is going on? Why? Okay, that's weird. Alright, you're gonna have to live with that. I think there's a booger on that side. I couldn't get it. My bad. Yeah. Oh, don't lick me.
Kill confirmed.
I'm on your
Planting
six.
Claymore.
What the fuck? I just opened a goddamn door.
Switching mass!
Come on.
Enemy is down!
Our UAV is orbiting the area.
Oh, no.
Flash incoming!
Taking the lead. We've lost the lead.
What? Was I like just completely off?
Friendly SAE on the way.
Could I not aim? Okay.
Hardline online. The enemy's taking the lead. Taking the lead. Confirm that one. We've lost the lead.
Did I not shoot him dead center in the chest? Yeah. According to that screen. Whatever.
I have your back.
Okay, apparently my aim needs to be fixed.
Friendly bomb drone is online. Friendly cluster mine deployed. The enemy's gaining ground. Push them. Hostile VTOL incoming.
Whoa, did I not just shoot that guy in the gut?
Hostile cruise missile incoming. Quick fix online. Friendly UAV on station. Hostile UAV in the area.
I've got your back.
The lead is ours. The enemy's taking the lead.
Reloading!
Tag secure, kill confirmed.
Boom!
Friendly VSO inbound.
Watching your six.
Stop shooting me!
Friendly care package in the AO.
Aircraft inbound!
Friendly bomb drone deployed.
Look alive! Traffic!
See your head.
What kind of a shot are you?
We've taken the lead.
What? Was I not on that guy's head? I mean, I guess not.
Friendly cluster mine set.
Sniper!
Friendly bomb drone is online.
Son of your...
Down!
1 minute left.
I got this.
Taking effective fire! Changing mag!
Setting.
30 seconds remain.
Throwing shock stick.
Notch 1. Friendly bomb drone active. 10 seconds remaining. Mission complete. Solid work.
4? Four? Alright, I gotta take a piss. What the fuck is going on? Chill out. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get down. Jesus, man. Move. Move. Ouch. Capricorn. Alright, yeah. Nah, I gotta go to bed.